Guys, yep, it's almost there. Basically, I'm doing about 2,500 and I only have 25 psi in my oil pressure. Even when I go to idle, you know, it's like going, I mean, it's a little less than 10. I usually see, I'd say like closer to 25 on there. But what happens, let me see here, this. I need to get it. They say around 3,000 I get a here. Yeah, so I'm not getting enough oil pressure going to my cams. So that means basically I'm gonna have to get a new oil pump or get an oil pump. I'm trying to drive and do this shit at the same time. Yeah, get a new oil pump, drop that in. So it might be a little bit of a while, man, because if I do that, I'm gonna just you know, probably re-ring her, freshen up the bearings. You know, it's been 5 years since I've done this, but yeah, if I'm gonna open it up, I might as well just, you know, clean her up again and then make sure everything looks good and then get another 5 years out of it. But yeah, so that's you know, kind of the importance of having gauges. You know, the only gauge that I don't have that I really should have is a temperature gauge, you know, for cooling, because you know these old ones, they don't look too good. But whenever I have a in my ECU, I have a rev limiter that whenever it reaches 205 coolant, it rev limits at 3,000 RPMs. So once I get that, I know, you know, something's up. But you know, this issue was kind of something else, because I went and I heard it the other day. So I was all, maybe, you know, with this hot weather and you know, using Rotella 15W40, let me go to something thicker. So I went to a 2050, and what do you call it? You know, it's like the issue isn't there on cold start, because on cold start I get like 50 psi of oil pressure, so it's able to push up into the upper part of the head. But when you know, it warms up, the oil gets a little bit more thinner and the oil pump can't push enough. So there's two ways to do this. You know, get a new oil pump. The only problem is that you know, you got to get it the same height as your deck. So that's one, you know, one solution. New oil pump, you know, new front timing, what do you call it? Timing cover, lower timing cover. But you got to get it the same height as the other one. So that's one, you know, possibility. The second one is just taking out the timing cover and then, you know, replacing the pump with another one, and hopefully you know, that may fix it. Or another one is shim the springs so you get higher pressures. So I'm thinking what I may do, because of this whole, you know, decking shit, I may just get another, because I actually have, you know, other oil pumps, get that and then also shim it so I can get, you know, more pressure. So that's basically what's going on. Kind of sucks because, you know, I'm like busy with everything else, so might not see any you know, videos for a while. But you know, after, you know, 5.5 years of the car, you know, you can't complain. And especially, you know what I mean, it's like a general, you know, wear and tear item. You know, oil pumps, shit, I mean, this motor probably has on its lifetime, I mean, I don't know if this is reading 320,000, but yeah, you know what I mean, it's, I never replaced the oil pump, so it was working good, and it's been working good until just recently. So that's all. But all right, guys, later. All right, what's going on there, guys? Not much. You know, just wanted to see. I played with the Valvetrain a little bit. You know, I am getting oil pressure, but you know, I'm getting this like slight knocking sound. So I thought it was a Valvetrain. It probably maybe you know, like a bearing on its way out. It only happens like 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. So now I'm stuck with a dilemma. Should I basically refreshen up the motor? I mean, if I do that, I probably would need to go 40 over. Remember, this motor was built like 5 years ago, and it don't make sense to. I mean, basically, the proper thing is to check your piston to wall clearance. Make sure that's within spec, but I know it's definitely not going to be because this motor's been ran hard and whatnot. But I'm like, debating that. I mean, basically you look at that, it's gonna be like what, 400 for pistons, then probably about 350 for what's that thing called, for machine work. New bearings, rods and mains. That's if everything specs out. So you have that, or you can drop in, if I can get a VG, that's a 300ZX motor, naturally aspirated. They can handle 7. I believe it's naturally aspirated, or it's probably the turbo one. But basically, and that's with stock block. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. There's a VQ. I mean, VQ is another option, but those can only handle about 5. So I'm trying to basically weigh it out. If I do a VG, I will get the MS3 Pro, so that kicks it up a notch. If I stay with the KA, it is cheaper, but it's like I kind of wanted to get into something newer. But I don't know, dilemmas. If I can get a cheap VG, then that might be sufficient. But as of right now, still up in the air. We'll see. Hopefully, I can get her situated pretty soon. It's kind of bummed out. This is a stress reliever, so I guess I'm gonna have to go back to diving. But all right, guys. Yeah, what's up, guys? All right, yeah. So I had some previous videos that I'm gonna be basically showing, and at first I was driving a car and then I started hearing a noise, like after 2,000 RPMs. I thought it was my rod knock, or sorry, my oil pump was down, and it was like Valvetrain, or like the lifters or whatnot, the cam and buckets. I thought that was a noise. So anyhow, I went and changed the oil, just to see and everything, and the oil pressure was fine. There was no issues with the pump or anything. So anyhow, I went, and then the other day, before I left for vacation, I went and I took the car, and starting up when it was cold and just driving, it was fine. It seemed fine. But then after it warmed up, then it started making noise again. I was like, what the hell? So anyways, another day after that, I think I was just moving it. Yeah, I was just moving the car, and it was just making noise, like whatever. Then it stopped. Then it came back again. So with all of these, issues that I've been encountering, or basically just trying to put the pieces of the puzzle, it doesn't seem like it's rod knock or mains, and basically no bearing issue, but more or less a wrist pin failure. So that's basically what the consensus is. I mean, there's definitely something in the bottom end. It is what it is. But like in my previous video, trying to think what to do next, if it's swap out, put another heart in there, or rebuild this guy. I don't know. I'm thinking though, if I were to get a VG, that'd be nice, because I could squeeze out 600 from it without opening it up. And I also like to go with a high comp too. But I don't know. Right now cost is a factor. But for the most part, we'll see. Even if I hold on to her and then do whatever, and then I could possibly sell her, or I don't know what. I know my son would probably hate me, But you know, that's just life. But anyhow, we'll see, you know, what's up, what I decide to do. I mean, I'm definitely going to open her up and see what that is, but I don't know when that's going to, you know, happen, just because I'm, you know, somewhat busy with this damn, you know, house. But after that, you know, we'll see. So until I open her up, that will be the next step. All right, like.